These women are unaware that they have given birth to superhero babies, but the billionaire who adopts them isn't aware of the consequences of their powers either. On October 1st, 1989, a swim team practice is going on at a pool in Russia. A young boy and young girl sit next to the pool, nervously waiting for the other person to make the first move. The boy leans in to kiss the girl, but their coach stops them from engaging in such behavior. When the coach is not looking, the girl quickly gives the guy a peck on his cheek and then nervously runs away and jumps in the water. The coach gives the girl a warning whistle, and the women return to their practice. However, the girl does not resurface for quite a while, making the young man and the other women worry. Then, blood is seen spreading in the water where the girl jumped in. Suddenly, the girl comes out, but everyone is shocked to see that she is somehow fully pregnant now, with a baby visibly moving inside her. The girl is brought out to the side of the pool, where she gives birth. It is revealed that on this day, at exactly this hour, 43 women around the world have experienced the exact same phenomenon of being normal 1 second and full-term pregnant the next. An eccentric billionaire and adventurer by the name of Sir Reginald Hargreaves sets out on a mission to adopt as many of these miracle babies as he can, and he manages to buy 7 of them from their mothers. He has the babies taken around in special strollers with an umbrella logo on them. In the present day, baby number 1, Luther, is an astronaut currently residing on the moon. Baby number 2, Diego, is a vigilante crime fighter. Baby number 3, Allison, is a beloved celebrity. Baby number 4, Klaus, is a drug addict who is constantly in and out of rehabilitation. And baby number 7, Vanya, is seen playing the violin in an empty orchestra hall. As these 5 are engaged in their own lives, they receive the news that their adoptive father, Hargreaves, has passed away, and they all head to his mansion for the funeral. Portraits at the mansion reveal that when the children were young, Hargreaves brought them together to form a superhero team named the Umbrella Academy, because all of them possessed distinct superpowers. Luther has super strength. Diego has the telekinetic ability to curve moving objects such as knives and bullets. Allison can control people's minds and bend reality by saying the phrase, "I heard a rumor." And Klaus can communicate with the dead and temporarily bring them back to the world of the living. However, as time went on, one by one, they all started leaving the team. Vanya arrives at the mansion and sees her adoptive mother sitting in a state of shock. She meets Allison, who hugs her and welcomes her. Diego passes by and acts cold and distant toward Vanya, telling her that she is not welcome here after what she did, though it is not specified what he is referring to. Diego finds Luther in Hargreaves' room, investigating and looking for clues, and he informs him that the coroner's report confirms Hargreaves died of a heart attack, nothing else. Luther, however, thinks that the circumstances are suspicious and Hargreaves may have been murdered. Diego inquires what makes him think this, and Luther reveals that Hargreaves' body was found without his monocle, and he never once in his life saw Hargreaves without it, which is suspicious. Vanya goes through her father's collection of books and finds her autobiography in it, which she sent him when he was still alive. She meets with Pogo, the intelligent monkey butler of the mansion, and they discuss Umbrella number 5, who has been missing for 16 years now. 5 had the power to jump through space and time. Pogo tells Vanya that Hargreaves always believed 5 was still alive somewhere. Allison arrives in her father's office and remembers how one time she and her siblings simply came to say goodnight to him, and he rudely sent them away. In the present, she finds Klaus looking around the office for money, and the two discuss how Hargreaves was a cold, distant, and cruel father to all of them, only interested in their abilities and never treating them as his actual children. Luther arrives and makes Klaus give up the expensive artifacts he's stolen before leaving. Luther and Allison catch up, and she reveals to him that she and her husband got a divorce, and her husband got custody of her daughter, Claire. Luther asks why she doesn't use her powers of mind control to get her daughter back, but Allison says she doesn't do that anymore. Next, the 5 siblings gather, and Luther talks about making funeral arrangements. It is apparent that he is the only one who had a good relationship with his father out of all of them. Luther then tells his siblings that in his final days, Hargreaves was paranoid. always telling Luther to be careful about whom he trusts. This is why he believes that his death wasn't just a heart attack. He also points out that the monocle, which is missing, was worth nothing. This means that whoever took it did it for personal reasons. It was someone who was close to Hargreaves and had a grudge. Diego realizes that Luther is insinuating one of them killed their father, and he is outraged, along with the rest of the group. They all walk out on Luther. A flashback shows the very first mission of the Umbrella Academy. Everyone participates in the mission except Vanya, who is held back by Hargreaves. When she asks him why she can't go with her siblings, he tells her that there is just nothing special about her. The mission also includes Umbrella number 6, Ben, who could summon tentacled monsters from his body. In the present, Klaus tries to contact Hargreaves in the afterlife, but he appears to have trouble with his powers when he is not sober. Next, a giant portal appears outside, and an old man is seen on the other side of it. However, by the time the old man reaches this side of the portal, he turns into a little boy. The little boy is revealed to be 5. 5 explains to his siblings that he time-traveled to the future and got stuck there. He had plenty of experience jumping through space, but he was not prepared to jump through time. Luther says he was gone for 16 years, and 5 tells him that, from his perspective, he was actually gone for 45 years. This means that even though his body is 13 now, his consciousness is 54 years old. Next, 5 catches up with Vanya and tells her that he read her book in the future, in which she reveals the truth about how the Umbrella Academy children were raised. He asks how the rest of her siblings feel about her now, and she reveals that they all hate her. A funeral service is held for Hargreaves, and Pogo asks if anyone wants to say a few words. Diego steps up and says that Hargreaves was a horrible man and a worse father. Luther is outraged by his comments, and a fight breaks between the two. The fight ends when Luther accidentally breaks the statue in Ben's memory, and Diego throws a knife, cutting Luther's arm. Another flashback shows Hargreaves rigorously training all the children, except Vanya. He also gets all of them tattoos of an umbrella on their arms. Vanya draws hers with a marker. At night, Hargreaves studies the brainwaves of all the children. In the present, Vanya, Diego, and Klaus leave, while 5 goes out to get some coffee. He runs into an old man at the coffee shop who pays for his coffee. Before he leaves, 5 asks him for directions to a departmental store. Then, a group of men with guns arrive to take 5, but he doesn't seem surprised by their appearance. He easily defeats them using his powers and finds out that he has a tracker in his arm, which the gunmen use to find him. Meanwhile, Diego and Klaus stop at the harbor, where it is revealed that Diego has the monocle Luther was talking about. It is also revealed that Klaus is in contact with his dead sibling, Ben. Back at the mansion, the mother of the children is seen sitting in front of a wall full of paintings, and suddenly, a robotic arm protrudes and penetrates her ear, revealing her to be a robot. Next, Vanya arrives home and finds 5 there. 5 says to her that she is the only one he trusts, because she is the only one of them without powers. He reveals to her that when he went forward in time, all he found was a post-apocalyptic world. He never found out what destroyed the world, but he does know when it happened. He reveals that the entire world is going to be destroyed in exactly 8 days from now, and he has no idea how to save it. A flashback shows the 7 children having lunch with Hargreaves, and during the meal, 5 angrily asks Hargreaves why he won't let him time travel. Hargreaves replies that he is not ready. He shows off his space jumping abilities to prove his worth, but Hargreaves says that time jumps are far more complicated. 5 says that he's not afraid, but Hargreaves reiterates that fear isn't the issue. He is simply not ready. Angered, 5 goes outside and time jumps anyway. After doing it once or twice, he gains confidence and ends up jumping all the way to the post-apocalyptic time period. He sees the ruins of the mansion and panics. He desperately tries to jump back, but to no avail. In the present, he tells Vanya all about the horrible conditions he had to survive in. While narrating his story, he says, "We had to do anything and everything to survive," and Vanya gets curious about who else he's referring to. 5 brushes past that and tries to leave, but Vanya tells him to get some sleep at her place, so that they can talk again in the morning. Before sleeping, Vanya takes some pills, which she seems to take repeatedly throughout her day. Meanwhile, 5 quietly leaves. 2 agents named Cha-Cha and Hazel arrive at a motel carrying a special suitcase and receive a package full of guns. It is revealed that they are also after 5. A detective named Patch arrives at the coffee shop where 5 killed all the gunmen. She learns that Diego is also investigating this case, and she tells him to stay away because he is not a detective, and hence not authorized to do police work. Their conversation reveals that they have a romantic history between them. Luther wakes up at the mansion and speaks with Allison. During the conversation, it is apparent that he has a thing for her, incestuous. She tells him that her daughter Claire would love to meet her uncle, but he is hesitant about it. He tells her that he has to work the case of Hargreaves' death. She advises him to not make a mission out of this. Klaus wakes up at the mansion, being belittled by Ben for his stoner lifestyle. Pogo arrives and tells Klaus that a very important box has gone missing from his father's study. Klaus remembers stealing it, emptying its contents, and selling it to get money for drugs. Pogo tells Klaus that the contents of the box were priceless, and they must be brought back. 5 arrives at a company called Meritech Prosthetics and asks for information about the owner of a prosthetic eyeball that he possesses. They refuse to give him the information, and he throws a tantrum and leaves. Luther arrives at the gym where Diego works and lives and goes through his room. Meanwhile, Vanya finds 5 at the mansion, and he says that it is possible time travel messed with his head, and he imagined all that he saw. However, after Vanya leaves, it is revealed that 5 is plotting something with Klaus. Cha-Cha and Hazel torture the old man 5 met at the coffee shop thinking that he is 5, but when he reveals he met a kid at the shop, they realize that 5 in this timeline could be young. Vanya runs into Allison having a stressful call with her ex-husband, and she tries to give her some advice, but Allison snaps at her. It is revealed that she is also angry with Vanya for writing about their life in her book. Klaus and 5 arrive Meritech again, with Klaus pretending to be 5's dad. When they still refuse to tell 5 about the owner of the eyeball, Klaus hurts himself and threatens to sue the company. The doctor agrees to give them the information, but when he matches the serial number on the eyeball, he sees that it hasn't even been manufactured yet, which confuses him. Afterward, Klaus asks why this eyeball is so important, and 5 reveals that someone is going to lose it 7 days from now, and that same person will start the apocalypse. Luther learns that Diego was in a fight the night Hargreaves died, so he could not have been involved in the murder. Meanwhile, Pogo meets up with a distraught Allison, and to cheer her up, shows her old surveillance tapes from when they were all young. He allows her to sit and watch the tapes, and while she is going through them, she spots something that horrifies her. 5 arrives at a departmental store, where he finds a mannequin that he adoringly and strangely refers to as Dolores. As he is talking to the mannequin, Cha-Cha and Hazel arrive and start shooting at him. He evades them easily, but then his powers start malfunctioning again. He is saved as the local police arrives, and the 2 agents are forced to leave. Meanwhile, Patch discovers the tortured body of the old man. Luther arrives home, and Allison tells him that he was right about Hargreaves' death not being from a heart attack. She says she has to show him something, and as they are heading to the surveillance room, 5 arrives in a terrible state. Luther asks if he is all right, and if they can do something to help him, and 5 cryptically replies that none of them can do anything. A flashback to his time in the future reveals that he saw the dead bodies of all of his siblings, and he found the prosthetic eye in Luther's dead hands. The Umbrella Academy is an American superhero TV series that first aired in 2019 and ran for 3 seasons till 2023. Its 4th and final season is set to be released in August of 2024. The show has received a majorly positive response for all of its seasons, with fans and critics complimenting how the series perfectly balances its fantasy and superhero elements with some of its more serious emotional themes. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like our channel and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. Also, let us know what movie you would love us to recap for you.